So, you know, when you make a plan because new year, new books, you have a whole plan figured out, and then you read one book and it screws your entire TBR? Hello, lovely book dragons, and happy new year, and welcome to my first video filmed in 2021, because the video that came out on the 1st of January wasn't filmed in 2021. So happy new year, and thank you guys so much for being so many people here on the channel. I started the new year with 900 subscribers, and I was just really I couldn't believe it. My heart was so warm, and so thank you so much, guys, for being here and for supporting my channel. With it being a new month, I wanted to share my January TBR with you. And as you saw in the intro of this video, I made a plan. I have this bullet journal where I plan my books, and I came up with an idea of things I would like to read based on the top 10 books I want to read this year, on the series I want to continue, the series I want to start. I had grand plans. And then I picked up my first book of the month, and that book threw my entire TBR out the window. That book is Malice by John Gwynne. This was on my January TBR, and I wanted to start with this because, as I mentioned in the previous video, I wanted to read one book a month so that I could just make my way through the Banished Lands in 2021. Well, I am now 250 pages in. Today is January 3rd, and I already knew 100 pages ago that this whole TBR was gonna get scrambled up because I love this book so much already that I need to read the sequel. This book is about many a character, and pretty much in this world there is this prophecy that the black sun and the bright star are gonna come, and there's gonna be a god war like there was thousands of years ago, and all these signs are starting to show up, and people are starting to, think, whoa, is this real? Like, god wars, really? Are you sure? And so it's super interesting. I will be doing a full separate review on this because this is incredible. This is amazing. I heard so many people tell me that the first 200 to 300 pages are a bit rough to get through, but once shit hits the fan, oh man, you are in for a ride. And I love this book from page one. Yes, there are a lot of characters. If you're new to fantasy, I'm not sure that this is really like the easiest way to dip your toes into fantasy, but this is not a wrap-up or a review for this book. Pretty much, that's this book. That's my TBR. It's the first book I'm going to be reading in 2021, and what a good choice. Naturally, like I told you, I had to put Valor on my TBR. This is the second book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. I ordered yesterday books 3 and 4 that will arrive somehow only on the 16th of January, even though I used Amazon Prime for it, but that's okay, because then maybe I can still continue on with my other TBR. But I'm definitely going to be reading Valor this month. I have to. And apparently this book is where everything becomes fantastic, and I'm like, even better than in Malice. Like, I'm in for a treat, you guys. I'm in for a treat. So yeah, not gonna say too much about it. This is a sequel to Malice, and I'm hoping to get to this as well. If you don't know this about me, the series that back in the day got me into fantasy was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, but I never actually finished the series. In 2020, I started buddy reading this series with my friend Deborah over on Instagram, and we made it through the first 4 books, so the first 3 books and the short story collection, and we kind of stopped, and we decided that in 2021 we wanted to continue with our buddy read and finish off the Throne of Glass series. So in January I want to read Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, and I remember that this book, when I read it back when it came out, was incredibly amazing and awesome. I don't know if I'll still feel that way. This is incredibly tropey YA fantasy. But at this book, I think it starts to become adult, and I don't know, these characters have been with me for like 10 years or more. Like, when did this book come out? This book came out in 2015, so the other books came out earlier than that, so these books have been with me for a very long time, and I'll see what I think about it, and I just want to finish this series, and this is the next installment. In my winter TBR, I mentioned that I wanted to read Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. This is about the last witch burnings, I think in Iceland or something like that. And I heard that the audiobook for this is fantastic, and it is on script. So I'm going to be listening to this book throughout the month because apparently it makes you feel really cold, and that's perfect. I need this. I need something to break up the huge, incredible fantasies I'm reading this month, and therefore I'm going to be reading Burial Rites. Speaking of perfect winter reads, I'm going to be reading The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden as well this month. I am actually hosting a buddy read for this over on the Shelf Space Discord. This is a Russian-inspired fantasy story, and I've heard incredible things about this. I've heard that it's incredible to read in the winter because it makes you feel super cold, and I wanted to try a different kind of fantasy for this month, and I'm really excited to be buddy reading this. Quite a few of us buddy reading it, and I think it's going to be very much fun. Oh, by the way, I'm really bad at giving synopses for books because I don't really like going into books knowing about them, so I always leave all the Goodreads pages for these books in the description of the video. Remember how in my 2021 goals video I said that in 2021 I just wanted to chill with buddy reads because I'd been in way over my head in 2020? Well, I decided to join Jade's over at Bedtime Bookworms waterlong. So I'm going to be reading The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan in January. Guys, this book is a behemoth. It is huge. It is very intimidating. It is the beginning of a 15-book series, but it's been a long time coming. I've been wanting to read The Eye of the World and The Wheel of Time in general for so long. I actually started it in 2020, but it wasn't my own copy. I wanted to own my own copies to be able to annotate and write in it and just do whatever I wanted. And yeah, I'm going to be reading this month. I am going to be reading it. Like, it's like Malice, Valor, Baron Nightingale, and then this. That's like my priorities are there. And this is going to get read. And there will be a spoilery reading vlog, I decided, and also a non-spoiler review, which is going to be under the format of Should You Read? And I'm super excited to dip my toes into The Wheel of Time. Next up, another book that I want to use to break up my whole fantasy reading is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This would be a reread. This is one of my favorite books I read in, I think, either 2018 or 2019. I love this book back then. I kind of wanted to reread it because I wanted to really annotate it and write down why it meant so much to me. And I mean, among all those big-ass fantasies, it is time to have a little bit of a historical fiction drama. With this Bookie Reads book club, we read one book a month, and this month we picked A Study in Scarlet by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I'm really excited that we picked this because I've been wanting to read more of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's stories, but I haven't, and it is time. It is time, and with this one I'm really excited because I've only read The Hound of the Baskervilles because we read it in school, and it was time to read some more. And so we're going to be reading that. Before we get to the last book on this list, I want to do a few honorable mentions of books that, if I have time, I will get to. But the answer is probably I won't get to them this month, even though I was really excited about it. I think that, like I said, Malice really threw off my schedule. I wasn't planning on reading Valor, and so yeah, I don't think this is going to happen. But I had 3 books that I have like as a tentative read for the month. The first one being The Crimson Campaign by Brian McClellan. I read the first book in the Pottermage trilogy, Promise of Blood, last month with the Shelf Space book club, and I liked it all right. I gave it 3 stars. I will talk about it in my wrap up, but I want to continue on because I hear a lot of people say that book 2 and 3 really expand on the world and on the characters and that it makes everything so much better. And so I want to continue on with The Crimson Campaign. I do think that I'm going to be listening to these on audio because it's what I did with Promise of Blood, which may be why it hindered a little bit of my enjoyment because yesterday we had the live show and Alan and Jesse were talking about stuff that I was like, wait, this happened in this book? So I don't know if the audiobook is a good or a bad thing, but I think it's the route I will go with. The next book that I would love to get to in the month of January, but I don't think I will, is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang, which is the conclusion to the Poppy Word trilogy. I would love this because then I would have one series finished, but I think it will have to go on over to February, but February is already looking booked as well. We will see, but this one is also on the tentative list. As well as Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter, which is the second book in The Burning, the first book being The Rage of Dragons, which is one of my favorite books of last year. By the way, the list of my favorite books of 2020 is coming out like very soon here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I would love to read that book, but I don't think it's going to happen in January. I guess we will see. And the final book on this overly ambitious TBR. I wasn't planning on reading this anytime soon. I have the whole trilogy on my shelves unread. I thought, hey, it's probably time that you get to this at some point. And then I was watching Alan over at the Library of Alexandria's January TBR, and he mentioned that on his Discord channel, they had decided on a buddy read, and I am on his Discord channel, and I somehow missed it. And yeah, the buddy read for the month of January is The Long Way to a Small Angry Pendant by Becky Chambers. This book has been on my TBR for such a long time. Like I said, I own all books in this series. I've been wanting to read this. I've been wanting to read a little bit more sci-fi this year as well. And when he said that this was the buddy read for the Discord channel, I said, hey, I need to read it because 1, it would get a book off of my shelf. 2, I want to join in the buddy read because I really want to support Alan's channel because I love Alan and I want to read more sci-fi. And it's a short book, so it can break up some of these fantasies as well. I love how for us fantasy nerds, like a 400-page book is like, oh, great, this is a palate cleanser. This is short. This is bigger than most people's books are that they read. But the point is, I would love to read this month as well with Alan's Discord channel. So there you go, guys. Those are all the books that I would love to get to in January. probably won't happen because let's be real, the second I get Ruin and Wrath here at home, it looks like the TBR is gonna go bye-bye. But I hope that I can at least get to Malice and Valor and the Eye of the World, and oh my, I don't know. I just want to get to all of these books, but it's probably gonna be impossible because I work full-time starting tomorrow. It'll be all right. We can do this. We can do this. I'm so excited though for all these books. I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're doing great. And until next time, happy reading. Bye guys.